All right, guys, this way. Good evening, explorers. There we go, I like that. Start off great. Welcome. Welcome back to another great evening at Story Station here on Adventure Island. Now, in our last, what was last night's story about?
I wasn't here, so
it was about Moses and
that was 2 years ago. Today was the friends carrying
the friends with their friend who was paralyzed. And they showed great faith, right? There's no flying. They had great faith in the healing power of Jesus. Now, the night before that,
it's Moses.
you don't need to do that. I need to do that.
Turn around.
The day before that was Moses, where Moses learned to trust in the light of God's love with the burning bush, right? Well, tonight we're going to continue our quest for God's great light. Are you seeing a theme here? Lighthouse, God's light, the light of His love. But before we do, we need to prepare ourselves with our theme verse, right? From Isaiah chapter 60.
Chapter 60.
Hmm?
Chapter 60.
What does that say?
Arise,
shine, your light has come. The Lord's glory has shone upon you. Now I'm going to read it again, but I'm going to leave a word out.
Okay.
Arise, shine, your has come. The Lord's glory has shone upon you. What word did I skip, Austin?
Light.
Light. Your light has come. Very good. I think we should try it again, don't you? So I'll try again. I'll leave out a different word. Arise, shine, your light has come. The Lord shone upon you.
Has.
The fourth one?
Is it,
No.
Is it has?
No.
Glory.
Glory.
What?
The Lord's glory has shone upon you. Great job here. So today's Bible story is actually 3 stories.
Wait, what?
3 stories. They're stories about things that were lost and then found. And they're told many, many years ago by my favorite storyteller of all time. Jesus. That's right. He tells these stories called parables. A parable is a story that's designed to teach a lesson, right? You're supposed to learn something from a parable. In the first parable, wow, what service? In the first parable Jesus tells in this section, there's a shepherd who has 100 sheep.
Wait, what?
The shepherd has 100 sheep, but one wanders off and gets lost. What do you think that shepherd does? He goes off to find the one, right? He keeps searching until he found that one sheep that had wandered away. And when he found that sheep, he put it on his shoulders and he carried it back to the flock and he celebrated with great joy, right? It's a happy occasion. The sheep that was lost has now been found. And then there's a second story Jesus tells, where he tells about this widow lady who has 10 silver coins, and she loses one. And what do you think she did?
She probably cried. She cried.
She searched and searched and searched. She searched everywhere in her house. She turned everything upside down, looking in every spirit language. Didn't mean it literally. But she looked until she found the coin, and then she went to celebrate it with her neighbors. She said, "Look, I found the coin that I had lost." She celebrated with great joy, just like the shepherd who had lost the sheep. Now, and then Jesus tells one more story out of this 3 stories here. And he tells this story that is cherished to this day. And you may have heard of it. There was a certain man who had 2 sons. And the younger son said,
Father, give me my share of the inheritance.
Now this was a very, very disrespectful thing to do. The son was basically saying, I don't want to wait until you die. I want the money now. And the younger son gathered everything and he took a trip to a land far, far away. And there he wasted his wealth through extravagant living. And when he used up all of his money, there was a severe food shortage. There was a famine in the land. And he started to get hungry. He couldn't afford food.
Hungry. I need a tree. I need a bush on the fire. There you go.
Hey, stranger. I just overheard how hungry you are. I'll make a deal with you. If you take this and go feed my pigs, you can keep a little for yourself to eat.
That's disgusting. I'll do it. Pigs! Pigs! Here, pigs! Pigs! I can't believe this. How many of my father's hired hands have more than enough food? But I'm starving to death here with a bunch of pigs. I will go to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I no longer deserve to be called your son. Take me as one of your hired hands. Here, pigs, you can eat it all. I think I've lost my appetite.
It's no milk and honey, but it'll fill you up.
So after a long, long journey, the younger son finally returned back home. After a long journey,
I hope my father can find it in his heart to at least hire me to be on one of his hired hands.
while he was still a long way off, his father saw him, and he was moved with compassion. And his father ran to him and hugged him and kissed him.
Quickly, bring out the best robe and put it on him.
Father, I have sinned against you.
We must celebrate with feasting, because this son of mine was dead and has come back to life. He was lost, and now he is found. If you're joyful and you know it, clap your hands. If you're joyful and you know it, clap your hands.
If you're joyful and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're joyful and you know it, clap your hands.
What's going on?
Your brother has arrived, and your father has commanded a big celebration because he received his son back safe and sound.
Hey, that's not fair. I've served you all these years. Not once did I do anything to disobey you. Why? But you've never given me anything so I can celebrate with all of my friends.
Son,
But no, when this son of yours, this leave with half your money, spend it on who knows what, pig slop, smells like pigs, comes back and you have this big celebration. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair.
son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and be glad because of your brother of yours was dead, and he is alive. He was lost, and now he is found.
And the light of joy was in that father's eyes. And Jesus taught this story so people could know that God is pleased when we celebrate what God celebrates. The end. You can stay. Have a discussion. Talk to the kids.
Bye. Or Rafa.
Notice they leave me alone every night. So what did the father do when the son came back?
Had a celebration.
Before that, when he first saw him, he saw him way down the road. What did he do? He ran up and hugged him and kissed him. Now, in those days, men didn't run if they weren't in battle. Right? That's kind of disgraceful for a man to be running. So he showed that he didn't care what people thought. He was just so happy that his son had come home that he ran to him and he grabbed him. Now the son was ready to beg his father just for a job, right? Remember, he rehearsed, I'm going to go ask my father if I can just be one of his hired hands. I'll grovel at his feet. And his father didn't even want to get that far, did he? He interrupted him. He was like, no, don't worry about it, son. He is so filled with joy to see his son return that he'd gone to meet him. He called for the robe right away. Well, that's how it is with us, right? God loves us so much, and he wants a relationship with us. Now, are there times that we kind of leave God? Are there times you kind of forget to pray for a while? Maybe you find yourself doing some stuff you shouldn't be doing. But then you remember that you messed up, right? And then you ask God, like, God, I'm sorry I did all this, right? What do you think God does when you do that? He forgives you. Do you think he smiles? And he says, welcome back? Right? Because we're God's children. Oh yeah, and God rejoices every time we return to God. So in this story that Jesus told, the son returned to his in-the-flesh family. Now, we were just talking a second ago. Sometimes we leave God, right? How do we get back?
You do the most confident, you pray.
Through prayer, right? That's how we talk to God, right? Through prayer. We don't have to do this, by the way. But we always show, they always show people that, right? Class their hands together. So that's how we return to God, is we pray to God, and we just, that's how we come back to him. It's how we return. Yeah. So I'm going to take a minute. Let's just be real quiet for a minute. And say a prayer to God. You want to say it aloud? Let's just take just a moment and talk to God. All right? Go ahead, bow your head, close your eyes so nobody can see what anybody's doing, and just take a quiet moment and talk to God. It can be as simple as saying thank you for something God has done for you. It can be asking for help for yourself or for someone else. Yeah, it can even be a prayer asking God how he's doing. And don't worry. You don't have to be churchy. You don't have to sound all fancy, right? You ever worry sometimes that you hear people in church and they pray and they sound so religious and pious, and you're thinking, I don't pray like that. But it's okay, you don't have to. Prayer is all about just connecting with God. Don't you think it puts a smile on God's face when you drop in for a conversation? Ever go to like your grandparents' house? What's grandma do when you walk in the door? Probably smiles, maybe hugs you. You know, my grandma used to always. My grandma, if she saw me riding my bike down the street, would wave me, call me into the house with a big smile on her face, and give me something to eat, no matter what time of day it was. She'd give me a sandwich, give me ice cream, something, but that was my grandma. She was always so happy to see us. You ever come home from school or from the end of the day when your mom and dad get home? Do they smile to see you? Can you imagine what God does when we come to talk to him, when we go to communicate with God? I bet God smiles. All right. Quick review. Maybe not. In the first parable, the parable of the lost sheep, how many sheep are not lost? 99. Because you had 100, lost one. You weren't paying attention when I was talking. Oh, okay. I'll give you that. So the one sheep was left. He wandered off. Just like, when we came up 2 or 3, you guys wandered off, right? So what did the shepherd do when the sheep wandered off? He left the 99 to track down that one, right? Because what if it got ate by a wolf? What if it got hurt? He was worried about his lost sheep, so he went to find the lost sheep. And he was very joyfully brought it home, right? He celebrated, he found it. Okay, Austin, in the second parable, how many silver coins did the widow have? 10. And what happened to the 10? She lost one. Which means she had how many left? It's math class, right? All of a sudden it turned into math class. She had 9, but she lost that one. What'd she do? Yes. That's right. She looked all over the house until she found it. And then what'd she do? She celebrated with her neighbor. She went to her neighbor and said, look, I found it, I found it, I found it. I can tell you, if I lost a $100 bill, I'd be celebrating when I found it. So these stories are all about how important it is that when we get lost from God, that we come back. About how God feels when we come back. When those who are lost are found again, right? Have you ever lost something that was important to you? I'm sure you have. By this point in your life, I'm sure you have lost something that was important. What'd you do? And what'd you do? You cried? You got very upset? Did you look for them? I meant lost like you can't find them. Not lost in the sky. Breaking up a little. So how did you feel when you found it, whatever you lost? Was it a toy? Coins? Backpack? How did you feel when you found it? Were you happy? Well, maybe you did. Did you? I'll find mine too. Well, how do you feel now since you haven't found it? How does that make you feel? It's a little upsetting, isn't it? It's upsetting because you... are you happy about that? No, you're sad about that, right? Hopefully you can lose that. With God's love, we are never really lost, are we? We're always loved. And that's something we can be joyful about, right? Just like the son was joyful when he came home, we can be joyful that God loves us no matter what we have done. Alright, so our Pathfinder today, let's see, first day was arise, shine, trust. And yesterday was joy. No. Faith. And today is arise, shine,